Just growing up, obviously, there's been a lot of ups and downs with our season this year. So I think just getting into a better flow with each other, and younger guys learning how to play, the game in college. So just growing up.
And then on the flip side, everybody's 0-0 at this point. And so what you have done in the regular season really doesn't matter at this point. So looking ahead to South Dakota State, what's the game plan? How do you attack them?
We're just going to go out there and compete. 2 games they beat us, but I think we played 2 good halves against them. In the second half for the first game and then in the first half for the second game. So just going out there and compete and see what happens.
And this is the last time you guys have an opportunity to win the Summit League tournament. How do you guys embrace that challenge and really try and close it out with a win?
Like I said, just go out and compete. You got to take it one day at a time. Obviously, if we get the job done Saturday night, we get a day off, so that'll be good for us. But just go out there and compete, have fun, and just see what happens.
Kind of going to this one, obviously no expectations really on you guys unlike the past couple of years. Is that kind of freeing for you guys a little bit, knowing that, hey, we're all the expectations are on South Dakota State, on the other teams, not on us?
I think it is. Coach stressed that today in practice that they have all the pressure on them. And then with the younger guys, it'll be good for them to just go out there and play free.
How do you guys kind of put it all together right now and make a run?
Just lock in. Make it this week a good week of prep. Lock in, focus on the scout, and just go out there and compete.
Do you guys take anything away, though, from the successes you did have against South Dakota State and obviously try and capitalize on those?
Like I said, we played 2 good halves against them. But with a team like that, it's just about putting it all together with 40. Yeah.
And Coach talked a little bit about, playing in kind of hostile environments. You guys have played on the road against big crowds. Obviously, there's going to be a big crowd out there in South Dakota. So what do you guys take away from that experience that maybe you can use?
Just to see growth. In the first half against South Dakota State, we really silenced that crowd by playing a really good first half. Second half, some adversity hit, and we didn't play how we should. So I think just taking that, learning from that game, and just using that for Saturday night.
For the most part, I would say that our mentality doesn't really change. You go into every game with the situation of, this is a championship, but that kind of mentality that, we need to win every single one. Every single one's the most important game of the season. And now, now it really is. It truly is, because it could be the last game of the season if we don't come ready to play.
And you sit South Dakota State right out of the gate. You guys have been there. You've experienced it. So, what do you take away from that experience that you had earlier this year?
Yeah, I know Marcus obviously touched on a lot of what I would say as well, which is just we put together 2 good halves. Unfortunately, those 2 good halves didn't come in the same game against them. And that's what we're going to go out there and try and do is put together 2 good halves of details, focus, doing what we do, rebounding the ball, moving the ball, and playing the best Mastodon basketball that we can, that everybody knows we can do.
And in years past, you guys have gone out there as one of the favorites, and maybe that's not the case this time. So does that change how you guys approach the game, maybe a little more relaxed, not as much pressure?
I think it depends on each individual player, but hopefully coming from this, the younger guys will feel less pressure. We're going to be in, like you've said, an adverse environment out there. We're kind of going out there to almost play a home game against them. They're going to have 9,000 fans there that are rooting for South Dakota State, and so with that and with knowing that, it should relieve some of the pressure of the guys, knowing that people don't expect us to win. We're the underdogs now, and so being the underdogs, it gives you an opportunity to create a storybook story, obviously, and have a great run at this last tournament that we're going to have here in the Summit League.
Everybody's 0-0 at this point in the year. Is there something kind of freeing that, hey, all the records are reset, everyone's kind of on the same table?
I 100% think that, yeah. You're 1 game away from being done, and you're 1 game away from moving on. And obviously, every team's out there fighting, fighting for their lives, really. And so it just that's when it becomes 0-0. You're just searching that 1-0 is the very first thing you're doing before you even can think about that second win or the third win or just winning the whole thing. You got to go 1 game at a time, really.
Coach made mention that he's kind of going to put the burden on the shoulders, I guess, of the experienced players. So how is that received?
We have guys who were in this situation last year, obviously, at the Summit League tournament. We played some tough games out there. Obviously we had John Conchar and Kason Harrow out there who bared most of the burden for us last year. And, now this year it's time for, obviously Marcus, Dylan, me, and some of our older guys who've been playing a lot of high minutes this year to, step up, obviously. We need them to step up and to make mature plays, take care of the ball, and like I said earlier, play mastodon basketball and make sure that we do that for all 40 minutes out there.
Best of luck.